baby gingerbread man cutter. The copper cutter used to belong to his Nana, but since it was his favorite, she'd given it to him when he turned 7. At that age, other kids didn't understand why he wanted to spend every Saturday afternoon baking at his grandma's little house on the edge of town. Most kids in New Hope, Pennsylvania, preferred riding bikes down the tree-lined streets or skipping stones across the creek. Lawrence used to feel quirky, even strange, for loving to bake, but he had lived for Saturday afternoons at Nana's and always chose them over more typical pastimes. Back then, Nana would take down her recipe binder and let him pick anything he wanted to bake. Now, he didn't need to follow a recipe. He had them all memorized. Whistling along to the carol playing over the bakery's speakers, he stamped out gingerbread men, then placed them in neat rows on parchment paper-lined pans. Sure, the bakery didn't open for an hour, and there were no customers to enjoy the seasonal music yet, but it felt wrong to bake gingerbread while listening to the news. He popped 3 pans of the cookies into his large commercial oven, the one that cost a fortune, and set a timer to rotate the racks so the cookies would brown evenly. "That's the secret, Sugar," he said to the dog, who'd curled up like a croissant next to the warm oven. "You can't just stick them in there for 10 minutes and forget about them. They need to be babied, cared for, spoiled. Like you." Sugar raised her head and gave him a skeptical look. "Don't believe me? You know there's nothing worse than cookies that are overbaked on one side of the pan and half raw on the other." "Talking to the dog again, boss?" Carmen Garcia asked as she hurried into the kitchen, tying her red apron strings as she strode toward him. Lawrence didn't need to look at the clock to know Carmen was running late, but he also didn't have the heart to nag her about it. He knew his assistant's mornings were pure chaos, since she was the primary babysitter to a bundle of grandchildren. Plus, Carmen reminded him of Nana. "You were probably getting lonely since I'm late. Again." She popped on her Sweet L's bakery baseball cap to keep her short, steel gray hair covered while she worked. "Don't worry about it, Carm. They'll be on winter break soon, and then you'll really be late." He laughed to put her at ease, and also to cover his own anxiety. Worries came creeping back. His chest tightened. Fear that Carmen would retire to babysit full-time set his teeth on edge, especially this close to the holidays. Without his assistant, the workload would quickly overwhelm him. Running a small business required him to wear many hats, but he couldn't wear them all and keep his sanity. "Maybe you're trying to stay on my good side, since I haven't reported you for letting Sugar sneak in here." Carmen loved teasing him about Sugar, even though she knew he never let the dog near the ingredients. He prided himself on running a spotless shop. No one had ever complained of finding white fur on a cookie, and they never would. Sugar followed the rules in exchange for fresh-baked peanut butter doggy treats. "You heard the lady, Sugar. Back to the office with you." With an exasperated sigh, Sugar rose and made her way to the office, toenails clicking across the white tile floor as she went. She might act put out, but soon she'd be snoozing in the nice patch of sunlight from the window that looked out on the corner of Main and Liberty. The timer rang, drowning out the carol. "Smells incredible as always, boss." Gingerbread sent waves of deliciousness through the kitchen when he opened the oven door. "It's that fresh ground cinnamon," he said, gesturing to the stainless steel electric grinder. Another pricey appliance, but one he believed set his cookies apart from the mass-produced junk at chain bakeries. Thinking of chain bakeries made him even more anxious than Carmen retiring. Chain bakeries could destroy his independent business. A stress ball formed in his middle as he imagined Nana's sadness if Sweet L's failed. "Did you have time for breakfast, Carm?" "Well, no. Now that you mention it, I don't think I did. I forgot about it in the morning rush." Carmen sighed heavily. "Then I took a little detour." "To where?" he asked, even though he had a sinking feeling he already knew the answer. "I know you said..."